What's up, Bernie?
Not too much, man. Just hanging out. I was actually just doing some prospecting right before you called me.
Give me a little bit of like your background and what do you do and then
Yeah,
we'll kind of take it
so
from there.
so I started off like I was doing, straight out of college, I was doing consulting, like Big Four consulting, daily grind. Like I was in DC, like Washington, DC, like suit and tie in the city, which it's a decent career path. Like they pay you well, decently well, I suppose. All things relatively speaking. Um, but like I don't know, I feel like our generation just has so much less purchasing power. Like even if you
Oh,
get,
totally.
you know, like uh like even where I am here, like a three-bedroom house is over $1 million. Where I am here, a three-bedroom house is over $2 million, right?
Right.
Like it's insane. So it's like, fresh out of college, I was like making six figures, but I was like, what can you buy? Um, and
Totally.
so plus like the road to partner and like in that business model, like they do their best. They're trying to take care of everybody, but it's just I felt like there's just so little upside. It's like it's a 15-year road to become a partner if you do everything right. Like if you
Right.
it's all the right ass and work hard, right? And I just didn't really like it. I did at first, I had all the energy to, you know, be gunning and networking and working hard. But after a few years, I was just like, I'll kind of just chill and coast and take my paycheck and not really gunning for a promotion because, it's like, if you try really hard, you might get a raise for 5%. And if they notice you, right? So I was always
Well,
kind
and
of,
then, and then they expect you to work more and have more responsibility.
yeah, and you're competing against other A players, right? Who are trying to do the same thing. So it's like every one of those companies they're all smart, driven people. So it's like you're competing against 30 other people who are trying hard for so that you can be one of two people who gets a $10,000 raise, right?
Totally.
Like here, once I found out about this, it's like if you want to raise, just get another client, right?
Right.
Like if you want a $10,000 raise, get one client. That's it.
It's so
That,
true.
that's all it is. There's like you get one chance at a raise once every 3 years. Like, it's I was just like, dude, I'm done with this. Um, so that I moved to San Diego a few years ago and I didn't quit my job. I got a different job, which wasn't like consulting. It was really just like it was government contracting, which way more like slow pace, chill. I'm working remote. Um, and I have like every other Friday off kind of thing. So
Right.
like I haven't quit my job yet. Um, at this point it's kind of inertia, right? Because it's like I people are, dude, you'd be crazy to quit. Um, because I don't it's not the consulting hours anymore. It's just one of those like kind of easy, lofty, remote jobs, or they don't ask too much of me.
Right.
Um, but I started looking at other forms of like, income, and that's when I found out about this. Um, and it just kind of clicked. It just made sense to me. Um, because you're just in control kind of how much money you want to make. Like it's so linear. Like the more work you put in, the more money you make.
Right.
Where as like in a traditional like W-2, there's like the more you work, the happier you might make your boss or the happier you might make a
Right.
client. But that doesn't translate to how much money you make, right? It's like you can work all year long and you'd be like, fuck, dude, they gave me a 3% raise, but Sarah got a 4% raise and she didn't do anything better than me. It's only because they like her. It's just like
Yeah, the politics.
it's all
Yeah.
politics. And it's like, and they said they didn't have it in the budget. It's like all that shit. It's like, dude, here the only person to blame is yourself. If you put in the work, you'll get more money. And you can do it within like a week. Like a few weeks ago, I was just kind of being lazy for like a few weeks. Then I was like, dude, I need to get off my ass and do something. I started prospecting for 1 week and closed a client within the next week. Right. And boom,
Amazing.
got a $1,500 deal. Right. I was
Right.
like, which kind of made me pissed because like, why didn't I just do that sooner? Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I was like, I spent all of January not doing anything and then decided I was like, all right, it's time to like start, getting the ball moving again. Started like going through my list, started prospecting, and like from starting to like closing, I think it was like a Monday to Monday thing. And the dude wrote me a check. c- Um, he, I didn't get him on a Stripe account, but he wanted to write a check so he could pay upfront for like a discount. I wanted to like charge him 1,600 a month. And he's like, if I pay up front, can I do like 1,500 a month? And so he paid for 3 months up front. I'm like, all
That's
right,
so awesome. Yeah,
great, I'll take it.
4,500 bucks. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, why not? Um, and so it's just like, so basically he wrote me a check for 5 grand. Like how, where, you can't do that at your job. Like they'll maybe give you a bonus for 5 grand at the end of the year that gets taxed like
Right.
crazy.
And it's not like how we get it, which when you're self-employed, you get to write off your expenses first before you
Yeah,
get taxed.
it's just a lot of flexibility and it's, I don't know, to me, it's a lot more like personally gratifying to just know like if you set a goal, you can just start working towards it and then immediately start making more money. Whereas like, I don't know, I just wasn't personally fulfilled doing other jobs because I was like, I didn't see satisfaction in them. I don't know. I guess I'm just motivated by money.
Everyone has like a level where they kind of play at. And for me, I live in San Diego just like you do. And you start getting around. I don't know if you feel the same way I do. I was talking to Kyle about this yesterday, where you when you start to make more money, you start to look at all the people who have money, and then you go like, dude, I feel like I'm not at the level. When I see a $45 million house in La Jolla, I go, what the heck kind of money are they making? Right. And so there's always like these levels to it, but it's also the time freedom, which is so cool, which is the leverage of you get a client. It's like you're not having to trade exactly X amount of hours every month. It's like, yeah, in the beginning, you have to build the sites, do the work. But there's that leverage, there's a payoff where you still get paid even though the work's done. And that's like my personal favorite part about it.
Exactly. And to me, it's liberating knowing that like I can make I can make my own money whenever I want. So it's like I know I told you I haven't quit my job yet. That's just because I'm like being a pussy about it. Like I told you it's been like inertia. Like it's they don't ask a whole lot of me, and I'm like,
Right, right. You're in that weird phase of your job where it's kind of you're kind of getting paid, and it's I get it, 6 figures, you get healthcare.
and it's
And
yeah,
because right now it's kind of you're kind of even, right? Aren't you making about the same from this as you are your
yeah.
day
And so
job?
it's like I'm kind of banking like double. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's remote, and I have every other Friday off,
Right,
right? And then on the Fridays I don't have off, my managers aren't they're off.
right.
So I'm
No,
like,
it makes I have
yeah,
no
I'm like,
qualms. I have no
yeah,
qualms
so
about
like,
you working your job, even though you're
right.
making 6 figures and you're doing this. I think
But
it's
I
like more
should
power to
quit.
you.
Like I need to quit because if I am not doing it, I'll put so much more time into this other stuff, right?
Yeah, you'll probably be at like 400 grand a year doing this if you went
Yeah,
full
I
time.
would be so much further. So like I said, it's kind of like inertia. But the what I'm saying is it's so liberating to know that like I don't need the job, right? Like I'm not in the job gunning for a promotion. I'm not in it like upset if they give me a raise or not. Like I don't care.
Right,
Like to me, this is my main focus, and that's just like a paycheck.
right,
I know that I could quit tomorrow. I know that they could fire me tomorrow, and that like at any given time, I could just like within a 1 to 2 week span, I could just go make $1,000 recurring. You know what I mean? Like
right.
that's just like such a liberating feeling where like there used to be a fear like, what if I lose my job? Oh
Right.
no. I don't have that anymore. Now I'm like, I know I could just make some money. And and that's just nice to have, you know?
Yeah, if anything, you're probably the reason why they'll promote you at your job is because they can sense that, like, oh, this guy's not afraid to dip.
It's like office space. Yeah. It's like the movie
Yeah,
office. Yeah, that's literally what it is. Yeah.
that's hilarious. But what got you so like what was I the first person to take you into like the self-employed world of this like an online type business, or have you tried other things and bought other courses and
Yeah, so I had tried a drop shipping course before where it was like a legit one where, we weren't just doing like Alibaba or anything like it was like high ticket stuff. and set up a real business, but I didn't make any money. I did like 50K revenue in a year, but the margins were so slim that it wasn't worth my time, right?
Right.
It was like I could see the path that I was like, this will never allow me to quit my job, and it wasn't enough for me to like make enough money on the side that I wanted to do it, right? It would be like a few extra $100 each month, right? That
Yeah.
I was like, but I still had to manage emails and shit. I was like, so after a year, I was like, I'm cutting this off. And then I found out about this and I was like, okay, this is my attempt number two at an online thing. And I started making money. Right. So this, like, so
That's
it's like, yeah,
awesome.
I failed at one thing. And then my second thing, which is this, I I did start making some actual real money.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're kind of lucky too that it was only two. I mean, so many students of mine who make money, like they did like four things and they were about to give up, and then this was the one that made them. Like I think Nick did like six different things, and now he'll do like 3 million bucks this year, right? Which is such a crazy thing for me to think about. That he'll make ever so slightly more than me, which kind of pisses me off. The student surpass the teacher kind of thing. But
Uh,
yeah, I guess I'm just trying to think what else we can kind of maybe you can share for people on the outside looking in, because like obviously like there's anytime someone's like going into a new skill and they have to spend money and it's kind of unknown, there's fear attached to it, right? So I don't know if you have any advice to people on the outside looking in who are maybe skeptical, or maybe they're scared, they don't know how to use a computer that well, or maybe they're scared at sales. Even and like you and I know that this type of sales is not anything like normal sales at all because leads
no,
are a money driver. So maybe you could talk a little bit on that, like how different it is talking to business owners versus like selling SaaS software, like all the different other sales jobs out there.
yeah, I mean, I know there's just so much doubt in the world. Like, even for me, like when I see like all courses and gurus and shit, like there is just so much doubt. But like for this, like I'll implore anyone, like go Google a home service, like in any city, like you'll see that there's like lead generators and stuff, which means they're making money. Like they're people are making money, and it's not that hard. Like when I signed up for this, I didn't know the first thing about search engine optimization at all. Um, I thought it was like that was actually my one like objection. I was like, this is gonna be over my head. Like that's some real nerd stuff that it's gonna be too much for me. Um, and it's a lot to learn, but it's not too much to learn. Like, and it's very explained very well and like methodically throughout the course. And we also like it's taught about like how to do like local SEO and go after like like low hanging fruit and stuff like that. So
Right.
it's 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 not.
Right, trying to outrank, in some small little town, 10 tow truck owners or 10 tree care owners or 10 concrete guys, these business owners that, don't understand the web at all. So when you come in with just a little bit of understanding of how Google works and the web works, and just a few little techniques that are unique, it's kind of amazing how like that's all it takes
Well,
because
that's
you're
the
not,
thing
yeah,
is for these business owners, like the tech kills them, dude. Like it kills them, and like y- they need people like us. They totally need it. You know what I
right,
mean? Like, they don't know how to make a website. A lot of them don't. And for the people who do, they don't want to spend the time for it, right? Like they don't know
right,
how to rank a website. They're like, yeah, I can go on and make one real quick. Or like I had my nephew make it, but like it's not ranking, right? So if you're spending time out of your day to rank a website, right? Like if you're one of the psychos out here like us, spending time to do SEO, like that's worth money to them, right?
totally.
That's worth money, and they'll pay good money for it. Like that's how they eat. Like it's not that hard of a sale. And there will be people out there who don't want to hear it or aren't very motivated to like drive their business, and and you'll get told no and stuff like that. But there's you have to have an abundance mindset. Like there's so many business owners out there who will say yes.
Right.
And who
Yeah,
just
if four,
want
even if four tell you no and the fifth one's a yes, look at your case. That yes was $70,000 collected from one person. So
yeah,
it's like when you're selling something that's reoccurring, in theory, forever, right? Like I mean, I have clients that are going on 7 8 years. Um, having a business owner that says, "Oh, we're already fully booked. We can't take more business, and that's why we can't take these leads." Who cares? Like next,
yeah.
right? Talk to the next
Exactly, because
person.
my dad owned his own business, and when
Nice.
I told him of this, he was like, "Well, I wish you would have done this for me," right? But like he's in his retirement stage, so like
Yeah.
my dad would be the perfect person of someone of a business owner you would call, and he'd be like a horrible business owner to call. You know what I mean? Like because
Yeah.
he's just
Yeah.
not motivated to grow his business anymore.
Right.
Um, but no, like I've always had the entrepreneur mindset. I just never got into it right out of college because I was gunning for the consultant like road because that's just how I framed everything. I was like, I'll go to a good
Totally.
college, get a good job.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but to me, like doing this, because there will be times where it is kind of hard. Like I mean, you have to rank a website,
Right.
and if you go into a harder niche and like do more difficult SEO, it's worth more money, right? So it's like you'll do things that are more difficult, but the thing is, there's so much more upside. Like, just think about that. Like, if you get one client or two clients, it's just worth so much more
Right.
than doing a job. Like, you're gonna have to work regardless, unless you win the lottery, right? Like, you're gonna have to do some work regardless. And if you do this kind of work, there's just so much more upside because the deals stack.
I completely agree with you. It's always interesting how, like in the beginning, obviously you're learning a new skill. The sites take some time to rank, and so you're like, I'm doing all this work, and you don't feel it. And then you get your first client, and then it's like this huge rush of dopamine because it finally starts clicking in. But then there's this next point where you go, oh my god, this is actually adding up to a lot of money as you start getting those clients. Where it goes like $500 a month is not going to change anyone's life really that much. But then when it becomes 5,000 a month and you still have your day job because you did this part time, it's like, oh, an extra 5 grand a month on top of anyone's day job is a huge amount of
Right.
money, right? So
Exactly.
so that's kind of where for me, I remember when I was in college, I got to like 6 grand a month. And it was like, I was like, oh my God, I'm rich. Like I'm a college student making $6,000 a month, passively working like 4 hours a week. Like, so that was the moment where I went, I'm going to lean all the way in. And how do I go to, from 6,000 a month, how do I go to 60 grand a month? And then now, 160 grand a month. And especially when you realize that means, like you just mentioned, if I, for me, making 160 grand a month, what does it actually mean? It means I'm making the business owners like probably like $5 million a month.
Yeah.
I'm making them so much freaking money that I'm helping the economy. I'm helping people. Sometimes it's a weird thought for me to go like, there's like children who like don't realize that like their parents have like paid their rent because of me. Like they don't
Right.
even know I'm the reason why
Yeah.
bills get paid in
It's like
Alabama or
a
North Carolina
butterfly
or in
effect, yeah.
Canada.
And then
Yeah,
there's like students of yours who like because they met you, they're ranking a site, and then there's kids from that who are getting fed. You know what I mean? Like there's this whole kind of cycle because of it. It's interesting.
yeah. It's cool. It's it's it helps me sleep at night. I'll tell you that much. Like it's really easy for me to sleep at night, right? But what do you think in the beginning? Was there any hesitation or hard parts in the beginning, or was it pretty smooth sailing for you?
I think the hardest part is probably just staying consistent. Um, because there can be times where it's like, I'll scrape a list of like prospects and go down 10 of them and like five of them didn't even answer the phone. You know what I mean? And then it's like the other four are not interested, or five of them aren't interested. And it's like, okay, this is a bust. And then there's days where you just don't want to do anything, right? And then there's days you're out of town, and then you realize it's like 2 weeks have gone by and you haven't done anything, right?
Yep.
So to me, it's like staying consistent because when you're kind of in this like solopreneur stage, like you're the only one kind of driving yourself forward.
Right.
Like if you get up and decide not to put in any work, then it's not gonna get done, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like a get rich quick where it's like, oh, if I just buy the course and click a few buttons, then a million websites will be built, and then I'll have clients just like begging me like, oh, I was waiting for you to call, right? It's like you do have to put in the work and you have to put it in like every day or even every week and then make the phone calls, right? But like if you do that, it will start to stack. So for me, it's just like if you believe in it, and you have to believe in it, right? If you believe in it, then you'll keep putting in the work. And if you put in the work, it'll work. So to me, it was just kind of buying into the idea. Um, and that's when like I think that's when I started meeting people in person. You sort of alluded to this earlier, like just being in San Diego and like seeing people with more money than you all over the place. And that's kind of what happened to me when I was just like getting into lead generation. And seeing entrepreneurs, people who were outside of the W-2s, people who just own their own business. I was like, there's so much money to be made out there, right? It's like these aren't, they're not doctors or lawyers or, software developers. All the wealthiest people I know are business owners, all of them.
Right.
And I was like, okay, so this does work. This is real. If I want to make good money, I need to own my own business. And so I can just believe in it and keep putting in the work, stay consistent, and it'll start to happen. So I think that was probably the most difficult part is just like you have to believe in it and then stay consistent. Because
Right.
if you give up after 2 months or 3 months, you might say like, oh, that was a flop that didn't work. That's because you gave up.
The business model works. There's no like you did
Right.
everything in the business over a period of time and it didn't work. It's like you quit.
Yeah.
That's what happened, right? And it's
It
so
only doesn't
sad.
work if you don't do it.
Yeah, it's so sad when you see, and that's why I think the group's so nice now that we have 1,500 students. So you have that encouragement and you see it because people post. I mean, there's every day there's testimonials in the group of people landing clients. But I think like for me, I went because I didn't obviously have it to that the way everyone now has like this proven blueprint from me. But it's so nice because yeah, there's students who always like are 1 month in and everyone has that little moment of like, oh, should I keep going? And then you see them like 6 months later and they go, oh, I quit my day job. Like
Uh-huh.
how crazy would it have been at that 1 month mark if I just threw in the towel. So yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. And one last thing we'll do is we'll just quickly screen share and just show one of your projects off, and then we'll
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, for sure.
end the call.
One of my longer customers, so like I've been working a lot with concrete. And so like if you type in like concrete contractor, um, like in Bristol, Tennessee, for example, I'm like the top guy, just as good as being the top.
Nice.
And if you scroll down, I'm like the top like, real result
That's
after
awesome.
after Yelp and Yellow Pages. But it's like it's not just for concrete contractor. Like if you type in like concrete driveway contractor, I'm gonna be up there also. Like I rank for that. And then here I'm number one, right? And there's different, like if you type in like concrete patio contractor, like there I am again, there I am again.
That's
And
amazing.
it's for all different keywords that are basically related to residential concrete. And so, that's the gist of it. Like I've been up there and I'm ranked for it and that's the site that I'm renting out. And so to just show you like what that translates to is it's gotten 43 calls in the last 30 days, right? And so
That's
like,
amazing. Which in
it,
concrete, for those who don't understand, because I know they're going to be like, we've shown like towing sites and stuff with more calls, but in concrete, a concrete job could be 10, 20, $30,000, right? So
easily,
each one of these calls is worth so much money to the contractor. So 43 calls in concrete, it's like
easily,
that's a lot of business.
um, like, a driveway is like $10,000, $12,000. And like this guy, dude, I had him, this guy got a restaurant project for it for 40 grand, which he then upsold to 150 grand. Like they were like, they just wanted him to do the finishing for it, for like a restaurant project.
Yep.
And he was like, I can do the excavation, outside around the restaurant. And then he like bid to do the like plumbing and stuff, which he just outsourced, but like he turned it into like $150,000 project, which he got from my site. Like he's doing $2.3 million off of my sites,
That's
Right.
wild. And so that actually segues nicely into, so he's doing $2.3 million in revenue. And then I would love to show, I know you have Stripe, which is a payment processor of the money you've collected. So how much money have you made off of him?
So I'm growing a little bit with them because I don't just have the Bristol site. Like what I do is I go to surrounding areas. So now I have a couple sites with them. When I first started, it was just I was doing $500 a week with them, which is fair. But now I have a few sites with them where so it's like it's getting more phone calls. So like if like I don't know if you want me to go into it or not, but like
Yeah,
so now he's paying me $1,000 a week, and you can
that's
just
amazing.
in Stripe, like I started it with $500 and then I just did another charge for another $500. So it's like, it's basically $1,000 a week, which like you could
That's
think
amazing.
it's,
For
yeah,
most people listening in on this, like if they're not doing the math on that, that's 4 grand a month. That's $48,000 a year. And
it's
actually up to
more,
date,
it's
yeah.
4,300 a month. If you do that,
Wow.
right? Cause
Right,
it's
right, right.
$1,000 times 52 divided by 12. Yeah, it's 52 grand a
Yeah,
year.
yeah, it's 52 grand a year. You're right. You're right. That's crazy. And you can actually see it. So you can see here, because we're just looking at just this customer. So it's 146 seated payments and all at $500. So am I getting that correct? Like you've collected 70 grand so far with this
Yeah.
client, and obviously it's going to keep going.
Yeah, dude,
That's
he wants to go
unbelievable.
with me. Like I actually just had a Zoom call with him literally last week. Um, and we want to grow more because like, dude, he did like so he's paid me 70 grand, which is a lot, but he's doing 2.3 million, right? So
Right.
I was like, I want to charge him double at this point, but build him more sites. And he's happy
Right.
to pay it. Because he want like he's so ambitious at this point where he wants to like he's like, dude, screw driveways. Like he's like he wants to do general contracting and do parking lots and do excavation, right? And and he doesn't have the time to just be pitching it and getting those deals. Like I'm his marketing guy. He's like, go get me the deals, build the sites. He told me he's doing like 20K a week in profit, right?
That's
So
unbelievable.
20K a week in profit. So to him, $1,000 a week, that's just another bill.
Right.
It's writing me a bill, right? Like
It's the bill that pays the other bills,
it's
right?
just the bill that pays the other bills, right? So
Yeah.
like I'm gonna build him more sites, um, and like we're basically partnering and we're working out a rev share deal, so that like I can get instead of me just like passively getting this money, I'll be getting like we're gonna work out between 5 and 10% of that 2.3 million that he's getting per year. And like like so I'm not gonna have ownership of his company, but I'll have a little bit more incentive to grow it in terms of revenue.
Right.
Because like I mean, me and him talk a decent amount at this point. Um, and I really turned his business around, like so it's been great. Like he likes me, I dig him. Like I mean, he's paid me 70 grand. What's not to like?
Yeah, well, and what I love, and I keep harping on this point, and I know I probably sound like a broken record at this part, but like, when you are charging $70,000, but you're making him 2.3 million, he's making 80 grand a month profit to paying you like 4,400 a month. It's such a good deal. I mean, basically, you're 5% of his
Right.
profit.
At that
It,
point, I'm
it
like, dude, I'm getting ripped off.
Yeah,
Right.
you're the one getting screwed on this deal. and and
Exactly.
and that's what, like, I think it's such a hard concept for a lot of people looking in. It's like we're the ones getting screwed because we're the ones bringing all the revenue to these business owners, and we're weirdly happy about it. Like we're like, hey, at least we're getting paid, we're making someone's day. It's guilt-free money where you don't have to feel bad about making it. Where I always talk about in some other business models and things, even before I got into this business when I was 18, 19, 20, trying to find what to do in my life. Like so many of those other businesses, you feel guilty buying a 50-cent item from Alibaba and drop shipping it for $18 on Amazon,
Right.
right? Like
Like,
you're selling garbage, right? You're not actually adding any meaning to anyone's life.
no,
And
for
so
this, it's like by definition, it's like you have to be helping someone for you to make money. Like if I'm not making him money, he wouldn't be paying me for over a year. You know what I mean? Like you can maybe ink a deal and sell a deal, like sell them on a dream where they pay you for 1 year or where they pay you for 1 month or 2 months, and then they'll leave you. But like if like for you to actually make some money, like you have to be helping them. So it's just like so synergetic. Like
Right.
that's why I like this. It's like you actually feel good about it. You know, like
Right.
business owners.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Like I appreciate your time.